So hello again, welcome back.
Hi.
Another episode audition take of Marji's mic.
Episode. Yeah, that's one word for it. Well, I was thinking about, you know, my experiences in the performing arts and running the circuit, what I call the circuit of Austin, San Antonio, Houston. San Antonio, Austin, Houston. Anyway, at this point in time, I was back in San Antonio again and enjoyed catching up with old friends and family. At 30 years of age, I decided to take a step toward learning to accompany myself on the piano. I was fed up with piano players who were mediocre at best, had drug or drinking problems, and resented the attention I got on the bandstand, so I took action. I purchased a lovely rosewood Young Chang baby grand piano with a high gloss finish. It was sweet. With sweaty palms, I Googled piano teachers and lined up a 6-week course in sight reading. Let me say a little early childhood trauma was fueling this new goal. My brother Mark is a man of many talents, but he really shines as a classical violinist. In Roswell in our childhood, I was a star in dance class, but the coordination nature had blessed me with did not extend to the hand-eye variety. I practiced loudly and offensively, I am sure. Mark would tease me unmercifully. My mother, Janie, loved a good laugh and would chime in with her only son for the comedic practice session that was their secret dynamic. "Mom," he said, "I sure hope I have lots of money someday." He would say from backstage, the kitchen. "Why, son?" she innocently retorted. "So I can give Margie lots of piano lessons." Well, of course, my tender 8-year-old heart was crushed, and after about a year of struggling, I closed that piano lid once and for all, or so I thought. I dusted and admired my new young Chang and was okay with the belief, however slim, that the right pianist or teacher would appear and at the right time. One of the loves of my life still lives in San Antonio. He's a lighthearted and intelligent man and visited me in the early morning with a chocolate-filled Shipley's donut and a newspaper in hand. One crisp February morning, he seemed uncharacteristically quiet and turned to a cryptic message in the back of the paper. Quote, "Liberace in coma in Palm Springs," end quote. I thought it was strange that my friend was so affected by this, so we discussed the whispered rumors swirling around a terrifying, deadly disease we knew nothing about. It was AIDS. My friend went on an impassioned rant about how he felt Liberace had more impact on the music industry, and indeed on our culture, than any other individual in our lifetime. I found this a little puzzling, at least, because my only reference to Liberace was from his television appearances. I was certainly impressed with his prowess at the piano, but as a child, more fascinated with his style of dressing. Growing up in Roswell, I dreamed of a glamorous collection of costumes, but having just one dress which I wore to church, my Catholic school uniform, jeans and boots, or loafers for the weekends, glamorous collection of costumes was indeed a dream. That evening, I went to bed at the usual time, said my prayers, and went fast asleep. Around 1:30 in the morning, I was awakened from a deep sleep to witness at the foot of my queen-size bed a figure radiating golden light with shoulders almost as wide as the bed. It was Liberace himself. As my heart started pounding on my chest, I pinched my arm just to see if I was dreaming. In fact, I pinched my arm so hard it felt like an immediate bruise. This was no dream. I stared at him as he smiled and said with complete conviction, quote, "You are better than you think," end quote. He then swirled into a tiny orb about the size of a baseball and flew through the closed bedroom door. After what seemed like an eternity, I was able to creep into my living room. The little piano was totally aglow with the same golden throbbing aura. I became aware of the most blissful feeling I had ever experienced. There was no pain, no space or time. As I sat on my couch, I realized full well it was a divine presence. I wanted to stay there forever. In what seemed like 5 minutes, my friend was at my door with my donut and my newspaper. I knew from the look in his eyes that Liberace had died. I was stunned to read that the exact moment he had left the earth, he stopped off to encourage and comfort a small town girl on a journey toward a musical future. This is the power of music. I had been sitting in that state of perfect peace for over 3 hours. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Wow, that's
Heavy, kind of heavy.
I mean,
what is your first thought, Kobe? First time Kobe's heard this, I wish you could see his face. What do you think?
Did not see it coming, really. I mean, as someone of a younger generation, I don't know a lot about Liberace, and I'll be honest with you on that. It's like I know he's famous for piano. I think I have a vague memory of him like doing opera as a clown. Am I thinking of that? Is that the right person?
I don't know. He was everywhere. He had his own television show. After this happened, I was intrigued because I didn't either, and I grew up, in the 60s, and I researched him, and he didn't want people to know, but it's true, that he gave hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to poor, talented musical students without, again, anonymously. He just, really, he believed in the power of music. And he lived it. He certainly lived it.
He felt like he did it even in his final moments.
Well, I've decided in my golden years, I'm going to tell my stories, and people can take from it what they will.
Yeah.
I've told these stories over the years without documenting them or trying to put them out in a big way like we're doing now with the podcast, and people go, oh, well, you made that up.
No.
And I had some doubt. I thought, well, did that really happen? But these things really happened to me. So I find it reassuring to know that this is not all there is. And certainly, the other thing I'd like for people to take from this is that there's all these new buzzwords about overthinking. And, it is true that oftentimes, we are better than we think. Don't overanalyze things. Don't overthink it. Just go out there, take that leap of faith, and do it. I never did learn to come to the piano as much as I had hoped, but I had the sense to seek out the best musicians I could find, and that's another story. And I was able to find them, so that's going forward. That's another story. Anyway, thanks for listening, and please subscribe and like. I know you hear that from everybody.
We would really appreciate it. We're trying to grow our audience, grow our little community of good people, and and creative people. Anything I can do to help. I do know a few people that are still on this side of the plane. They're not behind the veil. They're not all gone with Liberace, who perhaps could help you in your musical endeavors. Anyway, Happy New Year, and thanks again for listening. Talk soon. Bye. Bye.